Okay, we're back. I've let my dough proof and it has about doubled in size, which is good. That's what I'm looking for. And it's really soft, which is nice. You can punch it down a little bit. And then we're gonna lightly flour our counter, just a small amount, and give it a couple kneads. Okay, let's see if we can make that work. Okay, so let's put it into a ball. Now you can do this in two ways. You can use your hands to kind of start the rolling process, pulling apart at the edges. And if you've created enough gluten in your dough, which I think we have, it shouldn't come apart. Or you can use a rolling pin, going from the outside, or the inside to the outside. You don't want to just go back and forth. You start in the middle and push out. And if, because of that gluten, it's stretching back towards yourself, that's okay. Just keep working at it. And if you need to pick it up, let gravity do its thing. Pull it down, spreading at the edges. Oh, I got a little broken spot there. Just avoid that spot. Back out. Trying to get it as circular as possible, but knowing that it probably won't be perfect, and that's okay. Once you've got it about the size, actually a little bit bigger than your pan, and you can use a regular rectangular pan as well. It doesn't need to be a pizza pan. You can change the shape. There's no inherent reason a pizza needs to be circular. Okay, like so, that should be good. I'm going to prep my pan. So I'm just going to add just a small bit of oil. And I'm going to use up what's left in here because you don't need much, just a little bit of oil. I'm going to take a paper towel and just rub it around. Make sure I'm getting the edges as well so it doesn't stick. Now, because pizza dough has so much gluten in it, you should be able to just lift it up and place it on, like so. And then once I've got it on here, again, I can work with it a little bit to shape it into place. Going around the edges with my fingers to kind of manipulate and make a crust. But the way that you make a crust in this kind of simple pizza dough is that we're just going to avoid putting sauce or any toppings on the edge, which gives that portion of the dough a better chance to rise because it doesn't have the weight of the ingredients. What you're going to want to do is, after you have your dough on your pan, ideally it will rest while you prep all your toppings. Now that my dough's rested, I'm ready to top it. You can buy pre-made pizza sauce, no problem. But if you want to make your own, there's a very simple recipe included in the course, which is just tomato sauce, tomato paste, salt and pepper, a little bit of basil and oregano, and that will suffice. So like I said, we're going to add pizza sauce to your liking. Some people like lots of sauce. Some people don't like a lot of sauce at all. That's me. And we're just going to add it, making sure that we stay clear of the edges. And you don't have to use this kind of pizza sauce. I think I included in the course, you could use Alfredo, you can use pesto. This is your chance to, again, be creative and show off things that you enjoy. Pick what you like to have on your pizza. And the first time you make pizza, you may like parts of it, but you might not like all of it. And that's when your design, the cycle of design comes in your reflection. So think back, what did I like? What did I not like? What would I change? And the recipe or the ingredients that I'm going to show you today have taken me a long time to figure out what is my favorite pizza. And the fact of the matter is sometimes I go to make my favorite pizza and not all the ingredients are available, either at the store or wherever I happen to be. There is big debate amongst the pizza world of whether or not we put the cheese on top, the cheese on beneath. It's totally up to you. I prefer to have cheese on top. I mean, in my perfect world, I'd probably put cheese on both actually. But my pizza usually includes a meat. This is a pepperoni. And if you are on a tighter budget, I encourage you to use a smaller portion of meat by just cutting it up and sprinkling it on. You can use significantly less meat if you do it that way, as opposed to putting it on in full pieces. Okay. Okay. Next, I'm going to add in some shallots that I've pre-sliced. I like shallots rather than full onions or yellow or white onions. I just find they have a sweeter, kind of softer taste, which is what I enjoy. And I don't think I really discovered that until it was much later in life. I thought for the longest time I didn't like onions, but it turns out I just needed to find the right onion that I liked. That's why it's so important to try new things and to try different things in different ways. So there's my onion. Then next I'm going to add red pepper. I love red pepper for the color and the shape. Oops. And you may decide to cut your red pepper or your toppings in different ways. You may like the look or the taste or the texture of things in different ways, and that's, again, totally fine. It's up to you. There's that. And then one of my favorite pizza toppings is actually pear. I used to put pineapple because I liked the combo of sweet and salty, but after I went to a restaurant one time and they served a pizza with pear on it, I have never gone back. I love it. And the softer the pear, the better. My family actually has a pear tree, so in the summertime we have a prolific amount of pears. So that might be where this idea was also birthed from. Just one second. Okay, I also have a roasted garlic, which is a really simple thing to do. You just take the whole head of garlic and you can squish the whole thing out, but I like to be a little bit more controlled in how I put it on because I don't want too much. You just take off the top of a head, add a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, and you roast it wrapped in some tin foil. But if you Google how to roast garlic, you'll see it's very simple and very straightforward. It's one of the few things that I will never order at a restaurant because I know how cheap it is to do at home. Just make sure it's all over the place. There we go. And then last but not least, obviously cheese. So again, we've got mozzarella here, but you can use all sorts of cheese on top of pizzas. Lots of different types of blue cheeses. Some people put brie on top. I've seen 5 cheese pieces with grapes on them. People come up with all sorts of things to do on their pizza. So I encourage you to try something new. Look up various things for inspiration. Remember, this is your chance to design something that's personal to you. So you're not going to copy a recipe, but you're welcome to look up ideas and try to get some inspiration for what you're going to do. Okay. My pizza is ready to go in the oven. I've preheated it to a nice hot temperature of 450 degrees. And because I'm putting something in the oven, I'm wearing my oven mitts. I already checked to make sure that my oven rack was in the correct position, which for this one I wanted in the middle because I don't want the bottom to burn before the top is ready. With my oven mitts on and standing beside the oven, I'm going to open it up, pull the rack out, place the pizza on top, put it back in, and close it up. For this pizza, you're going to put it in for 15 minutes. This dough will cook in that time. Something also to note, just as a side note, is make sure that when you're making your pizza and making all your choices of how you're going to design it, that anything you put on top of your pizza is already cooked. This is not a long enough bake time, for example, to cook raw chicken or raw bacon. We need to make sure anything that goes onto a pizza is already ready to be ingested, already ready to be eaten. 15 minutes, if you'd like that crispier browner top on the top of your pizza, for the last minute of baking, you can switch over the function on your oven to broil, and then that will just heat from the top and give you a nice golden top. Okay, when it's time to take your pizza out, remember your oven safety rules and that we open the oven to the side, pull the rack out, 2 hands taking our pizza and placing it on a safe spot, putting the oven rack back in and closing up the door. Always make sure you turn off your oven as well as your oven light if you've turned it on. Okay, there we go. It's all done. Okay, so my pizza's out of the oven with all of my favorite toppings, but I like to add one more thing post-baking, and there's lots of different things you can add. You can drizzle on a pesto, you can add more drizzle of olive oil, balsamic vinegar, or a reduction. You can put on Parmesan, but my favorite after baking topping is some fresh basil. So this basil has been chiffonaded, if for lack of a better term, and I like to put it on fresh so that it doesn't cook or burn. So to cut my pizza, we want to take the pizza off of the pan, but the crust should be nice and crispy. Just being mindful that this is hot. One of the main reasons I like to use a visible trivet or a cooling rack like this is to make sure that other people in my shared kitchen are aware that there is a hot item. If I've left this just on the countertop, other people won't have any idea that it could be hot. So that's just one way I help take care of other people. Okay, so I've added my basil on top, my fresh ingredients on top. I'm ready to cut on this cutting board. I've got this pizza cutter, but any knife will work for this. And I'm gonna go like this. Let's see if I can get it. Nice, that crispy bottom is delicious. There we go. Let's go the other way. Actually, let's go in. Some people have pizza cutters as well. Let's see how it's going. Let's do one of them right there. Okay, it's ready to eat. I'm really excited to see what you come up with a pizza recipe for yourselves. Again, be creative, try new things, and then always reflect on your design process. What did you like? What are you going to improve the next time you do it? Because cooking never stops. The process is ongoing. I'm sure next week one of my children will change their mind on this pizza and I'll have to come up with a new ingredient to add or take off.